Hey, this is Warren Redlick. We have the final decision from the Delaware Supreme Court restoring Elon Musk's compensation package, the 2018 compensation package that ends up being worth a lot of shares to Elon, a lot of stock options to Elon, which you'll hear crazy numbers of the valuation. But the important thing is the decision went in Tesla's favor. There's more to it than that. I would say this decision was good for Tesla, it was good for Elon, it was good for shareholders. It's not good for Delaware. And I'm going to explain that in this video. So let's get started with that. First thing is we reverse the remedy chosen by the Court of Chancery, rescission of the 2018 compensation plan. We reinstate the plan and award the plaintiff nominal damages. That's $1. We also award the plaintiff's counsel fees based on quantum merit and expenses. I'm seeing estimates around $56 million or $60 million. We'll talk about that in a minute. What's important here, we reverse the remedy. They're not reversing the decision, and I'm going to talk about that shortly. So this is my take, like it or not. The Delaware decision is good for Tesla, but it's bad for Delaware. It leaves standing Judge McCormick's invalidation of the shareholder votes to approve the pay package. So, the Tesla board decided to do this compensation package with Elon. They put it to a shareholder vote. Shareholders said yes. This early court decision came in. Tesla did another shareholder vote. Shareholders said yes again. What they said was, although the justices have varying views on the liability determination, whether the compensation package whether the judge was wrong for overruling the compensation package, although the justices have varying views on the liability determination, we agree that rescission was an improper remedy and therefore choose that narrower path to resolve this appeal. So it resolves the case in Tesla's favor, in Elon's favor, in our favor as shareholders. It does not resolve the underlying issue of whether corporations are going to invalidate shareholder votes. Right? Do shareholders have the right to decide how their executives are going to be compensated or not? Do shareholders control their companies or not? Or are we letting judges control the company and then we're just quibbling about what should the judge do when the judge finds this problem? So I think corporations should still avoid Delaware because the court has effectively said we're still going to disregard shareholder votes. If the shareholders vote in favor of something that a corporation does, then our judges can still overturn that. And the only issue here, and I actually disagree with their decision making, we'll go into that. Delaware Supreme Court said that Court of Chancery erred for two reasons. Number one, the court could not restore all the parties substantially to their status quo ante positions. And two, Musk's existing equity could not serve as a substitute consideration to restore the parties to the status quo ante. I'm quote posting Alexandra Merce, Tesla boomer mama here, who revealed that the case was out. What's status quo ante? So in 2018, roughly, the Tesla board makes a deal with Elon. Hey, let's do this. Elon says yes. The shareholders vote yes. So now for the next 6 years, 7 years now, Elon is working under the expectation, and now there's bumps in the road with the court, but he's worked for Tesla for 6 years with zero compensation. Right? So what was the status quo ante position? Where was everybody before? Well, the shareholders had a company that was worth, today's share price is, I don't know, somewhere around $480 a share. Today's share price at the close of Friday was $481 a share. If you go back to 2018, I don't know, the stock price was like $20. So the shareholders got a massive windfall. And Elon got nothing. Right? So the shareholders, they're not restoring shareholders to a $20 share price, thankfully, right? But Elon worked for 6 years and got no pay. And the court, I don't want to go through the details of the analysis, but the court looked at this and said, no, for these reasons, the judge was wrong to just say rescission, we're just going to eliminate the deal. The judge's reasoning was, well, he already owns a lot of the company, so he made a lot of money anyway. No, the court said no on that. The court said rescission is inequitable here, primarily because all parties must be restored to the status quo ante, and total rescission leaves Elon Musk uncompensated for his time and efforts over a period of 6 years. It's undisputed that he fully performed under the 2018 grant, and Tesla and its stockholders were rewarded for his work, right? We went from, I don't know, $20 a share to $480 a share. The court's approach was, well, if we're not going to completely eliminate the contract, then Tesla and Elon have to give me an alternative. And the judge and the Tesla and Elon said, no, you just shouldn't rescind it. You should rule that everything we do is proper. And the court said it was the plaintiff's burden, the people suing, that guy with 9 shares and his lawyers, to satisfy the prerequisites for any form of relief rewarded. It wasn't Tesla's job to say, well, here's how you should punish us instead. It would be the plaintiff saying, well, if you're not going to give us all this, give us something less. Here's an example of something less that makes sense. The judge refused to consider any remedy other than canceling the whole compensation package and blamed Tesla for not offering an alternative. The court says it was the plaintiffs who should have offered alternatives, and it was the judge's job to come up with an alternative. You don't get to just say, oh, I'm not going to bother doing that work. I'm just going to take away everything. Given the plaintiff's failure to establish his entitlement to any other form of relief, the plaintiff is entitled to $1 in nominal damages. So they go from, I don't know, billions of dollars in damages to $1 in nominal damages. Although the plaintiff failed, this is the part I really annoyed me. Although the plaintiff failed in his main objective of achieving a complete rescission of the 2018 grant and received nominal damages, Tesla and its stockholders benefited by counsel's efforts. This is the court giving them fees. The plaintiff's attorneys are awarded fees and expenses based on quantum merit and a 4 times multiplier in post-judgment interest on the revised fee award from December 2, 2024. How did I benefit as a shareholder? My company ended up spending probably hundreds of millions of dollars on its own lawyers. Now they got to pay $60 million to these lawyers. Several Tesla executives, including Elon and other team members, had to take time away from working on the mission of the company to dealing with this lawsuit. How did Tesla benefit from this lawsuit? Tesla didn't benefit at all from this lawsuit. There's no gain. We didn't get anything out of this. The idea that we benefited by counsel's efforts, no, we didn't. Tesla shareholders did not benefit. We got screwed. And they should have gotten nothing. But of course, the courts are going to take care of the lawyers. So the lawyers are going to get like $60 million for screwing everybody. Welcome to Delaware. The fundamental point I want to make is, if you are a corporation and you're thinking about incorporating in Delaware and you're expecting to have these kinds of issues come up, and you're figuring, well, if our shareholders vote in favor of what we want to do, we should be fine. The Delaware Supreme Court has said, no, there's no guarantee that we're going to respect a shareholder vote. And if a plaintiff comes in and says, well, we want you to eliminate the whole thing, but here's an alternative, then they might say, okay. If the plaintiff's lawyers had given the judge an alternative from complete rescission, completely eliminating the package, and said, you know what, we're going to give Elon, he should give him 10% of what the compensation pack awarded. Like, if that had been proposed and the judge said yes, the court's argument would have vanished. Then Tesla would have lost. Elon would have gotten 10% of the compensation that we voted for him to get instead of the full compensation we voted for him to get. So this is not a positive decision from the perspective of a company thinking of incorporating in Delaware, saying, hey, the Delaware courts have figured it out. They resolved this issue in favor of Tesla. So if going forward, if we have this problem, we'll be okay. No, the Delaware Supreme Court told the plaintiffs' lawyers, this is how you do it next time, so you can screw over these companies and screw over the shareholders. That's what this decision is. This is not a positive. This is not a good thing. Great for us shareholders. We got what we wanted. Elon's getting compensated. That's what we wanted. Good for the company as a whole. Good for morale. Obviously, we're diluted a little bit by Elon, Diluted. Elon gets some shares, and that dilutes our share of ownership in the company. But it's a very positive thing for the company going forward. And it also means that Elon has more control of the company, which reduces the risk that some outsiders are going to buy stock in the company and then change the direction of the company. Elon is, where we have more confidence that Elon is going to continue to lead the company in the proper direction. All in all, though, that at least as Tesla shareholders, we're happy we got what we wanted. For Delaware, I wouldn't incorporate in Delaware if I was you. I think the Delaware Supreme Court sent exactly the wrong message here. They should have addressed the fundamental issue of whether shareholder votes matter and sent this thing back. And basically told the plaintiff's attorneys they get nothing. So they said, well, even if you lose, we're going to give you $60 million. So now plaintiffs' lawyers have no reason not to sue. And now they know the strategy so that they can beat these corporations and beat shareholders and steal money from us. Do you want to incorporate in Delaware knowing that? Not me. Congratulations, Elon. Congratulations, Tesla shareholders. Thank you especially to Tesla Boomer Mama and Amy SF Tahoe on X for fighting the fight from a shareholder perspective, amicus briefs. Really appreciate their efforts, and they're efforts to communicate to shareholders and to the greater world what's going on with this case. Thanks everybody so much for watching.